Sound the alarm. It's time for another Sources Say. It's birthday week. I'm Juliet Litman.
Happy birthday, Juliet. I'm Chris Ryan.
Thank you. It's not my birthday. It is Steph Curry's and Tristan Thompson's, and we're going to talk about their parties. But first, I just want to mention, today, the NBA Draft Guide went live at nbadraft.theringer.com. It's phase 1. It's 15 players to watch and 5 in the NCAA tournament and 5 to know about not in the tournament. Shout out to Luka Doncic.
I've already learned so much. Last year, I felt like I had a much better handle on the lottery guys.
That's great.
And this year, I was coming into it, I was like, I don't really know a lot about Marvin Bagley, but now I do.
Nice. So here's the plan. It's like this is like the soft launch. We're going to update it really continually until the actual draft itself on June 21st. But there's a lot more to come. But there's already some scouting reports. We're going to have some exclusive player data. We'll have mock drafts. We will have rankings from Charks and Danny and Kevin. We got a lot coming, so check it out, nbadraft.theringer.com. Bookmark it.
Have you got an early favorite in the clubhouse for favorite new rookie? Future rookie?
I want to believe in Michael Porter.
Okay.
I just feel like we've all fallen off the Michael Porter bandwagon.
Well, he fell off.
He broke his back.
Yeah.
But, a hero will rise.
Okay. So Michael Porter is the Dark Knight.
Yes, he is my
in
Bruce
your Gotham
Wayne.
City that is the NBA draft pool.
Yes, I didn't know that Christopher Nolan did not make up the phrase "the night is only darkest just before the dawn."
Isn't that Shakespeare?
I thought that was a Christopher Nolan original from The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Somehow Michael Porter Jr. figures into that.
That would be dope if you could go back in time and do your yearbook page, and you were like, "It's darkest. Night is always darkest before the dawn." Christopher Nolan, and it's just like a picture of you looking out over New York City.
I had a dope quote.
What was it?
It was from Almost Famous, and it was from Russell Hammond's fight with Jeff Beebe when he goes, "Can we just skip the vibe, and go straight to us laughing about this?"
Is that how you actually? I don't know is that actually how you are in real life? Is that an applicable?
I don't know.
Phrase?
I don't know. Let's come back to that. Let's dive into
Do you want to know what mine was?
Topic at hand. Yes. What was yours, Chris?
It was a Han Solo quote from Star Wars. Yeah.
That's great. You found your spiritual home here at the Ringer then. Okay, birthday time. Let's begin.
Do you think NBA players typically celebrate their 30th birthday with such gusto? Because for somebody like me, 40 is kind of like the bell is tolling a little bit. But for an NBA player, 30 kind of signals.
It's a tough turning point.
Here we go.
So Steph Curry turns 30 today, March 14th. Pi Day. Yeah, 3/14.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like pie.
I thought it was like National Pie Awareness Day.
Well, it is like Pi Day, like for
Right.
both. Like I was thinking, should I get us the pie?
yeah,
Yeah, I
okay.
understand, but I was thinking, should I get us a pie because it's Pi Day
Hilarious. Just for us right here in the pod?
for our office.
Okay.
Steph had his birthday 2 nights ago because it was an off night for the Warriors. Aisha planned it. However, a lot of the coverage from the Bay Area blogs and newspapers were like, the Warriors threw a great party and like thanks to Aisha Curry. And it's like, no, Aisha Curry just like threw him a party and like the Warriors attended. I don't want to give the organization credit for this.
Yeah. So do you know specifically where it was held?
I tried really hard to figure it out. I could not.
Because I part of what's sort of adorable about this party was that it
No one was
doesn't
there?
look that much different than where a bar mitzvah would be held.
Yes, absolutely. So he arrived on a yacht, and then I was like, did everyone else get on the yacht with him? But I don't think so. I believe they went into a nightclub because it just looked like the room was too wide.
Yeah, it was his
for a yacht.
the yacht was his entrance.
Yes.
Yeah.
That just so you know, this did happen on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills this season. Dorit Kelmsley planned a party for her husband PK. He represents Boy George or something like that. And he arrived. He took a helicopter to a boat, which took him to a yacht, and there was the party.
Where was the party that far away from where he was living, or was it just
like,
a matter of
it was
like
in
building up?
the bay of like Orange County, basically
Gotcha.
a little south of here. They live in Beverly Hills, obviously, per the name of the show. So they arrive, and it was a big fiesta. All of the Warriors were there. His kids were there for like part of the time. I was wondering who was in charge of taking Riley and Ryan home after they danced for everyone.
I'm sure they've got a nanny.
Like a nanny. Like they probably have several.
Yeah, Grandma was there too, so maybe she jumped in the action.
Yes, she was. Grandma was there, and she was dancing with Draymond and KD. They were both trying to dance with her, which is the kind of thing you do to bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
You're correct. Also in attendance, Sadell Curry and her NBA boyfriend or fiance, and Seth Curry and his NBA girlfriend, Callie Rivers.
Yeah.
Her Instagram was a great source of information for me. Some other interesting attendees. Matt Barnes, a major source of information.
Honorary Warrior for life.
Yeah. How do you feel about Matt Barnes being a Warrior for life? Is that the team you would have assumed he'd be a lifer?
Where did he most recently pop up?
Well,
was he part of the Isaiah Thomas, Paul Pierce arguments? I can't remember. Where did he kind of get back in the mix?
Yeah, I think he weighed in.
I think he weighed in on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the Paul Pierce situation.
And then he and Lauren had a little bit of a flare up on Instagram as well.
Lauren Govan.
Yeah, because I think she was either like happy birthday to him or this is our picture of our family, and he was just like, see you in court. It's kind of rough.
Yeah, that's a tough one. His kids are cute.
Yeah.
The Barnes twins.
How do I feel about Matt Barnes being a Warriors for life? I think it would be cooler to see true club legends like maybe Baron Davis or Mitch Richmond or Chris Mullin.
Stack Jack?
Yeah, sure.
It's interesting. It's like this new wave Warriors has taken over the franchise.
Yeah, and I guess he's sort of the chieftain of that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The head of the table.
Yeah, I just was surprised that he still gets the invite, but I guess he's in the area.
So Steph notoriously, at least in this podcast, skipped out on the trip to Vegas when they won the title last year.
Yes, correct.
And I was wondering if anybody opted out of this party.
I don't think so. It seems like everyone was aggressively opting in.
Zaza,
oh yeah. It seems like Zaza and who was the other person that I saw him take a picture with? I can't remember. But yeah, Zaza was there. Oh, Zaza and Omri Caspi and their wags were in the photo booth together, which I was like, oh, cool, foreigners, like it. It's the United Nations
was Ron
here
Adams
in Oakland.
there?
Didn't see Ron Adams. Certainly wasn't dancing. Who do you think is a better dancer, Steve Kerr or I can't fucking think of anything today. Who was the other guy who took over for him last year? Mike Brown. Who do you think is a better dancer, Steve Kerr or Mike Brown?
Mike Brown. Steve Kerr has no mobility anymore. Steve Kerr is in a constant state of agony. Like, there's no way that he's out. I mean, unless you're like he's doing like Ian Curtis Joy Division dancing. Like, there's no way that Steve Kerr is cutting the rug.
The biggest revelation of this to me was that it seems like Quinn Cook has become an essential glue guy of the Warriors.
Yeah, I was wondering what the faction situation is on the Warriors, the clique situation, and if anybody's out. Because I always assume that Steph is a real like, hey, Steph, we're going out for drinks after work. And he's like, sorry, guys, I'm going home.
Can't make it.
Yeah.
Well, when Steph was hurt and Quinn Cook started, Steph like famously gave him a lot of encouragement. It was like giving him tips on the sideline and everything. So I feel like he is like just a good leader. There was that article, I think it was in Yahoo or maybe it was ESPN a couple of weeks ago about what a good leader. Oh, it was in ESPN. It was a Chris Haynes joint about like what a good leader Steph is, and that was like some of the anecdotes. So I feel like everyone likes him, but he's just not really a partier.
So I have a major question. There was some entertainment at the party.
Yes,
Lecrae,
the Christian rapper.
The Bay Area rap legend, and Paramore.
One
of our trending topics for the course of our 5-year friendship.
Sure.
Has always been, what did that cost?
Yes.
So we were always curious about what it would cost to get certain celebrities just to appear at something. Like, we were always just like, maybe what if it was like $20,000 to get Miles Teller to show up at a nightclub opening?
I want Michael B. Jordan at my birthday, just to be
know
clear.
You do.
Okay,
Yeah.
just to be clear.
I'll start saving. How much do you think what is Paramore's? Do you think Paramore just did it? That's a good look for Paramore.
Huge look for Paramore. Who?
So
by the way,
just
I really
to
like.
be on social, just to be on the social media signal boost, or do you think that there was like somebody cut a check to Paramore, or this is what I think it is: travel and accommodations are taken care of, and maybe a discreet payment to a charity of Paramore's choice.
Interesting. I think they get paid.
Okay.
Straight up, I think they get. Well, first of all, do you think they get paid more or less than Lecrae? Who has a higher one-night fee?
I would imagine Paramore.
I don't know. Lecrae is popular.
Sure.
I really don't know. But I think Paramore, they just finished up a tour, I believe, for their album from last year, which was really good.
And they're from Nashville, so they have no NBA allegiances, so you can't say Paramore traitors.
They were the band on stage when they sang Happy Birthday to Steph.
Yes.
So does that mean they were the headliner?
Yes.
So Lecrae and E40 open for Paramore.
I think so.
Is what we're saying
Yeah.
here. Where would you, like, what, after how many guesses would if I was like, Chris, a rock band played at Steph Curry's birthday, would you have gotten to Paramore?
I don't really know, because like Steph would be. I could see Steph liking Coldplay. You know what I mean? Like, I could see Steph liking Imagine Dragons.
I feel like he likes Imagine Dragons more than Coldplay
I'm sure you're right.
because he probably listens to top 40
But you don't think
radio.
him and Aisha like sort of like some soft inspirational rock?
Well, I know they do because they're really good friends with this duo who I love called Johnny Swim. I think I've mentioned them before. It's like a husband and wife. They're like a bluegrass duo together, and they were there. And
You like that?
I love them. I love them.
Okay.
She, the woman in the duo is named is Abner Ramirez and Amanda Sudano,
Okay.
who is the daughter of Donna Summer,
Oh,
and
wow.
she is like one of the most beautiful humans in the world. It's
Okay.
actually hard for me to believe she's not more famous because she's just so gorgeous and a great singer. I ask Amanda Dobbins. I send her like videos of them all the time.
Okay.
I'm really into them. They were there, but they weren't performing.
At the Curry party,
yes!
but they weren't performing?
Yes, they're just really good friends with Steph and Aisha.
Okay.
I love them.
There was... Quinn Cook was the glue guy.
For sure.
Paramore was the headliner. Steph Curry was the man of the hour.
China Clay was the star.
The man of the night was China Clay.
Shoeless China Clay.
What's up with him?
He just broke his thumb.
Is it broken?
Yeah, fractured thumb. So that's tough. Tough beat. Apparently he's back at the end of the month, but it's his right hand. I believe it's his shooting hand. So how will that affect his quick release? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's not looking great.
Has China Clay ever made a domestic appearance?
No, I think this is his first one.
Do you think he was taking advantage of this interregnum period between Rex Tillerson and Mike Pompeo to bring his wares into the country?
It is true that trade tariffs are going to target China.
Yeah.
So that is important to note. China Clay was not wearing shoes. China Clay was wearing baggy gray jeans. Mm-hmm. China Clay was wearing a sponsored T-shirt that he presumably did not have to pay for.
And was dancing on stage at someone else's birthday.
Yeah, but he wasn't the only one. But he also fell because he was dancing so hard. But
that's not how he injured his hand.
No, he injured his hand, luckily, in a game.
Okay.
Because it would have been really bad if this party brought down the Warriors.
Yes.
Really, really bad. China Clay was there in full force. At one point, he also, someone was filming him, and he was like, "Fuck your camera," and he, ran away from it. But then I don't know, I think China Clay was just partying, and he was just a wild man mixing it up. It was so great. I think we also learned from this that Draymond is still very much the emotional and energy center of this team.
Yes.
He was leading the shenanigans on stage.
Dancing with Steph's grandmother.
Yes, 100%.
Fake fighting with KD over who gets to dance with their grandmother.
I like to see KD is the cool kid who knows he can't dance, so he just stays near the scrum and sways, but doesn't actually try to break out any moves. Also, why? It's because he has foot problems, so it's probably not a good idea for him to dance.
Yeah, that would be tough if he re-injured his metatarsal because he was dancing at Steph's birthday.
What's your least favorite coming storyline about this party and how it pertains to the Warriors season?
I have zero. Warriors worry level is at 0.
Even with
0.
Even with Steph's bum ankle
0.
and Clay's broken thumb. First
of all, if Steph for some reason, God forbid, misses the playoffs, I'm excited to watch Durant go become the 5-tool all-star.
Okay.
I run the team. I can play center on defense and point guard on offense. Can't wait. I feel like they need these kinds of social gatherings to reinvigorate their bonds, to realize this is a crazy trip we're on. I've been listening to there's a couple podcasts recently where I feel like I
thought you were going to say I've been listening to some motivational speeches.
Well, no, Chris Bosh, best podcast of the year, Chris Bosh
Incredible.
On the Bill Simmons pod, was talking about just how hard it is to go to 4 finals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we're just almost underestimating what they're doing, because they're not only talking about the 4 finals, but for the most part, the last 3 seasons, they've been among the great regular season teams of all time. They're going full bore every night. They're destroying people. This year, it's a little bit of a drop off, but still really, really elite. I just think that I'm very pro Warriors heading into the playoffs.
I'm going the other way. I just feel like we've been expecting them.
This is confirmation bias because you've been calling the Rockets for a while.
Yeah, and it's not confirmation bias if it's true. And we've been waiting for them to turn it on and waiting for them to flip that switch and just be the dominant team. And sure, Iggy looks better, who by the way has not really been pictured at this event, but I'm sure he was there. They're really close.
Yeah,
he probably just is smart and stays off camera.
Were the folks there? Parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, they were. Actually, Sonia Curry looked very 90s. I was like, is that a shirt you've been holding on to for the last 20 years?
90s are back.
90s are back.
I saw Steve. We saw Steve and from Stranger Things.
Yeah, Joe Carey.
And Micah Monroe. And this might be a reference over your head, but they were dressed like Christian Slater and Samantha Mathis and Pump Up the Volume.
Not over my head.
I didn't know if that was in your wheelhouse for...
I loved the Samantha Mathis of the 90s.
Okay.
She's also one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, so 90s are back.
Sonia
Curry
She's a
and
leader.
Steve from Stranger Things are bringing the 90s back.
Anyway, I just think with Steph's bad ankle and now Clay hurting his thumb and Draymond hasn't really been healthy, I just don't know if they can put it all together this year. They're a great team. I think there's some matchup problems for them too.
Do you think that if they... Okay, so let's say they lose in the Western Conference Finals to the Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Does that give them more motivation to come back for the 5th season and make a finals run? Or do you think that it's the end of a dynasty and they maybe trade some major part of their team to bring new blood in?
Trade Clay.
I would hate to see it happen.
Me too. He wants to be a Warrior for life. Trade Draymond.
I feel like Draymond is destined to be a Piston.
Send him home?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you brought up, do NBA players embrace turning 30?
I also think Draymond and Blake on the same team would be the funniest thing that ever happened.
Oh my God. They would be so bad for each other. I think they would like each other though.
You think that Draymond would be like, oh, I like Blake now?
Yeah.
Blake's quitting on the Pistons. You can kind of see it.
Oh, definitely. He's also like quitting on probably being in Michigan. He's probably get me the F out of here. I think Steph turning 30 is interesting. He's already not a great defender. It's something that Sean has brought in before. Like, what will it look like when Steph is just like is more like Ray Allen than he is like transcendent Steph Curry? So that'll be a hard transition. I think will be interesting to see how it goes. The Cavs are in town for the double Lakers swing, right. Clippers and Lakers. And they had a free day on Saturday. How lucky for them.
Yeah.
That meant that the Kardashians could go full SpawnCon. They started the day with the Tristan Thompson and Khloe Kardashian baby shower held at the Bel Air Hotel, planned by Mindy Weiss, who's a celebrity like party planner. Also, really weirdly, best friends with Russell Westbrook's wife, Nina. They have an Instagram account together where it's about like fashion, and it's like about their best friendship. It's super weird and interesting, and I love it. Anyway.
Okay.
That party was sponsored by Amazon. Tristan attended.
Why is Amazon sponsoring people's parties?
People are pissed about this. I don't know.
Why are people pissed about this?
Because they're like, Khloe Kardashian could have paid for her own party. She didn't need Amazon. I mean, which is sort of like, it's not like it's a zero sum. Like if Amazon.
So how does this work? Is it like everything you see here, there's like a referral link for it? Like what is the deal?
It was for the Amazon baby registry.
Oh.
And so she was like, I'm so excited to get baby wipes. I'm going to need tons of them. And luckily I have them from Amazon. Like she gave interviews about using the Amazon baby registry, and then the party was sponsored by Amazon. And people are really mad that they did that. But it's not like they were like going to give that money to charity if it didn't go to the Kardashians. Like it's like a marketing budget for Amazon baby registries, whatever. So that was part one. Part two of the day was at Beauty in Essex.
Which is right down the street from our office.
Yes, very close. It's fine. It's like a Hollywood. It's like kind of like Planet Hollywood, but called Beauty in Essex.
You and Sean and Mal went to dinner there once?
Yeah, it was totally fine.
I think before it became
a hot spot. Yeah. It's now like in the NBA scene. Like there were some all-star events there. It's right next to a club called Avenue that's also like semi-popular with athletes and whatnot. And this was sponsored by Remy Martin, which also sponsors some Ringer NBA show segments. Mm-hmm. And in attendance, LeBron James with Savannah.
At Tristan Thompson's party, yeah.
Yeah, at Tristan Thompson's birthday. Kevin Love, Jordan Clarkson, and Rich Paul.
Okay.
Team Cavs. Couldn't tell if there was really anyone else there. It was a small affair. Every Kardashian was there except for Kim.
No Osmond?
No.
No Clarkson?
No, Jordan Clarkson was there.
He was there, okay.
Awkward. Used to date Kendall. She was there too. Whatever.
It's all in the game.
Some of the Real Housewives attended. Kyle Richards and her wife and her husband.
So do you think that here's a question I have. Steph Curry's party. I'm not trying to be like Steph Curry's party was so much more sincere and organic than Tristan Thompson's party. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. But do you think the Real Housewives are invited because they are sincerely friends with Tristan Thompson and or Khloe Kardashian, or is it one of those LA things where people get invited to parties and they show up and do the red carpet, go in for a little bit and leave, but they're not actually there because they're like sincerely friends with Tristan?
I think this was small enough that the people who were there like actually stayed for the whole thing, but because it's like in the Kardashian filter, it just becomes like content for people, like for me. Yeah. And like it's just like we don't know exactly where Steph had his birthday. Like he was like eating ribs, but we know exactly where this was. We know exactly who was there. They even released the menu. I could tell you they had a family style meal of kale and apple salad, oven braised chicken meatballs, filet mignon, Mexican street corn ravioli, and NYC donuts for dessert. Like okay, cool. Now we know everything.
Mexican street corn ravioli.
We had that. It was good.
Yeah.
If you recall.
Yeah.
Came on like a spoon.
Yeah.
But like it just is such a zoo. And like, okay, fine, good for them for getting money, I guess. But the way they do this just makes me so mad. The Steph party seemed like in some ways silly, but
it seemed like a family barbecue.
Yeah.
With
exactly.
Paramore playing it.
A family barbecue done really big, which is part of Steph's charm that I've really come around on. It's like total encapsulation of the two different ways to be an NBA star.
Yeah.
One is to be like kind of like family man gone big. And the other is to like play into the endorsement machine. And it's like it's very LA. Very, very LA. I don't know. It just makes me mad. I also noticed that I just who else is Tristan Thompson hanging out with? Like no J.R. Smith?
Well, also I think these guys, the Cavs are an interesting opposite path from where the Warriors are, right? Because they too are trying to make their fourth finals. Mm-hmm. And they've been through so much upheaval.
Sure.
And now, J.R. Smith getting demoted via text message by Ty Lue. And Kevin Love talking about some of the panic issues, anxiety issues that he's been dealing with. LeBron, will he stay or will he go? Tristan's been dealing with injuries and maybe hasn't been at his best playing. Like, it's just kind of like you can just tell that like that team needs to probably be broken apart.
Yeah,
just for chemistry. Over. Well, although they have been broken apart multiple times this season already. So
how many times can you break up a LeBron team and put it back together?
We'll find out.
We shall find out. It just is like a whole weird scene. What do you think about the middle of the season in the playoff hunt? Birthday party in general.
I think that you have to break up the monotony. Like the reality is that the Cavs are going to make the playoffs, and if this makes these guys feel good and it keeps them happy, then they should do it. But I do think that there is an interesting juxtaposition both between the two cities, the Bay and Oakland versus Los Angeles, but also just like the people who are there and the way in which, like, obviously, like you're saying, the way it was communicated, it just seems like it's like a completely different affair.
Yeah.
But I'm all for people like having a personal life outside of their work.
Yeah, like have fun.
Yeah. Totally.
Also, if you're a professional, you should be able to handle both.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Cavs had to cancel practice the next day the way the Warriors did?
I hope not, because they've only apparently practiced like 5 times.
As Isaiah Thomas really wants you to know. I noticed not a lot of Isaiah Thomas quotes coming out of the 2 games against the Cavs, and I'm surprised by that. Like, has the Isaiah Thomas speaking tour finally ended?
Well, he's now starting to get a little bit of his juice back because last night he destroyed Jokic,
right?
And I think it was like the first time that he had I think it's literally his only highlight of the year.
It would be cool if it turned out that he was actually got back to where he was.
Yeah, I mean, I think I always had a sneaking suspicion that he wouldn't. If somebody was like, if you play now, you're only ever going to be at 75%. I think he probably would have been like, I'm going to sit out for the season, or I need to get more surgery, or whatever it is. So I'm not surprised that he's getting better. And I think that, ironically, like the Lakers, there's not as much pressure on him because the Lakers are like, even if they miraculously were to make a run to the playoffs, so they're pretty good since they've been pretty good since that article came out where LeVar was like, the guys don't like Luke, right?
They're 20-9, I think.
Right. I still think that they won't make the playoffs, and this is going to be a lost season. But Isaiah's showing a little bit towards the end of it. And the fact that he hasn't destroyed the Lakers' chemistry, as it were, is like a feather in his cap.
Also, Lonzo starting to get some legit highlights.
I know.
Good for him.
I know.
Makes me happy. I just want him to escape the family drama. I hope that he is not like the Kardashians.
It's too bad. I hope that he isn't the price. I hope he isn't LeBron tax. Obviously, Isaiah would be. Isaiah can't.
He has to go.
But it'd be a shame if it was like, Lonzo's got to go. LeBron's coming to town.
It really would be a bummer. Although maybe he'd be a good mentor for him. Knows how to handle the fame. Knows how to be in the spotlight.
It's true.
Knows how to court it, but also control it. Maybe that's exactly what he needs. Do you want to talk about how you're in on the Raptors?
Sure.
Because you are. Were you swayed by Kyle and DeMar DeRozan going to the conference championship
I thought that was adorable.
Really was cute.
I find this team incredibly endearing, top to bottom. Really enjoy the guys on the team.
Even Dark Serge Ibaka?
Yeah, and I thought that Detroit game was like a real signature win.
Sure.
And Van Vliet is becoming a cult hero.
Fred.
And I just really think that they're going to probably, I don't know if they are going to easily win the East, but I think that they are going to confidently win the East.
I think they're going to the finals too.
Yeah.
What a tough time for trade tariffs, They're Canadian after all.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool. I just am so desperate for something different. I don't want it to be the Cavs.
I mean, Houston, Toronto would be thrilling. It would be one of those things where I think people like you and I would be so psyched. Do you think that the ratings would be down?
Yes, 100%.
As opposed to Warriors, Cavs 4.
Yeah. But Houston is a much bigger market than people realize. So I think there's that. Also, it would be a cool story for the city of Houston if after the hurricane and everything.
And after the World Series.
And after the World Series they won. That would be kind of wild.
Houston and Philly becoming the new dominant sports towns.
Yeah, that's what everyone's clamoring for. I really do love the friendship of DeMar and Kyle, though. It's really it's fun. And their kids are friends. It seems really
sincere. There's no reason for DeMar to go to the Big East Conference tournament with Kyle.
Totally. And also, what a year for DeMar DeRozan. He's, come out as a public advocate of mental health and also talked about how him and Kyle Lowry didn't even talk to each other for their first year on the same team, which I love.
I think he's a top 5 MVP candidate.
Yeah, definitely. Who else do you have in that race right now?
It's a really interesting conversation right now because it's obviously I think Harden's going to win it.
Yeah.
Number
Deservedly
2,
so.
I think it's probably Anthony Davis, but I think LeBron has a
real claim.
LeBron's played every game. So he has his team's bad or worse than it usually is, but he has a real shot at it at that number 2 spot. So it's Harden, LeBron, Davis, I think Durant.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's there's DeMar, there's Dame. I guess Steph, even though he's missed a lot of games.
He's missed too many games. I think if Butler hadn't gotten hurt, he'd be in there too.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of good individual performances.
You know who is not in this conversation?
Jimmy Butler's teammate.
Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins, griping. Today, there was a report that came out that it was on talk radio in Minnesota, that Wiggins has whispered to teammates that he's unhappy being a third option behind Butler and Towns. What a shock.
We've heard a little bit of stuff like this over the course of the season.
Yes.
Just some grousing. Some wolves howling into the night.
Has Wiggins ever been happy since he entered the NBA?
Well, it's been a pretty tough trajectory for him.
Sure.
For him. I think we always wonder about, like, oh, if this guy had gone somewhere else. As I like to say, sliding doors.
Sure.
Maybe too often I like to say sliding doors. But you have to wonder whether or not, if Wiggins had been in Cleveland and been the number one option playing with Kyrie Irving, or been one of the number one options with Kyrie in Cleveland, what that would have looked like. And the way in which Minnesota has had several coaches in his tenure in Minnesota, and then also added Towns and added Butler, so that basically, like, he's just got to be the third option there offensively.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
They wouldn't have added Butler if Wiggins was capable of.
I think it's tough for a number one draft pick to be like, yeah, I guess I'm Chris Middleton.
Yeah, that's
and not even as good as Chris Middleton.
Really, you'd rather have Middleton?
Wouldn't you?
I guess so. I don't know. I do think Wiggins has potential, but
I definitely think Chris Middleton seems like a more magnetic personality and better locker room presence. Just
totally.
Anecdotally. Yeah.
It seems like Tibbs is just also a bad personality manager.
Well, this is the thing: is that Tibbs probably 10 years ago is the kind of guy who could have made Wiggins into Butler too.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I just think that the way people's personalities, I just think that people change. Like, times change, and I don't know if Tibbs grinding these guys into dust really creates diamonds anymore.
I don't think it does. I mean, they are definitely getting better because, like, they play together more, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not like there's been like some kind of astounding change with these Timberwolves.
No, if anything, they're getting worse defensively.
Yeah,
yeah.
And like it seems like there's just a lack of mental engagement, not because they're not like capable of it, because
which is crazy because this is like the first playoff team they've had in 10, 13 years, something like that. Like, this should be one of the feel good stories of the season. These, like, last time, I remember when Kevin Garnett, like, standing on the scorer's table, pumping his fist in the target center, everybody's losing their minds, and there just doesn't seem to be any of the energy surrounding this team because of that.
New Clippers.
Damn.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
Like, always good, not great, unhappy, can't all work together.
It's tough. It's like,
they're missing that joie de vivre.
You look at guys like Spo and Brad Stevens and Steve Kerr, and there is a kind of model for the open shirt collar, kind of like creative bureaucrat kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not Tibbs. Tibbs is like, I got a vein popping in my forehead and I'm screaming about pin downs.
Tibbs is like mourning the loss of grit and grind. He's just like so upset that Memphis is tanking.
He can't believe Lionel Hollins got fired.
Can't believe he's still
Hasn't
not
had
over
a good
it.
night's sleep since that happened.
He's still not over it. It's pretty weird. It's weird when you just see like these like random flare ups in the crucial part of the season. Like, what is going on with Denver?
Yeah, so I think that Denver
they're in the hunt still.
Whereas what is like, it's mostly Jokic and Mike Malone, which is the point of contention.
He got benched for the fourth quarter and didn't play against, I believe, I don't remember.
For defensive purposes?
It's unclear. They wouldn't talk about it, basically.
Yeah.
So it's just, but that's bizarre. I mean, he's the best player on that team. Like, he can be like electric. But then he also could get his ankles broken by Isaiah Thomas. But it's just weird for the franchise star to be benched by the coach like that.
Yeah.
That's in a
playoff hunt.
That is what got David Fizdale fired for doing it to Marc Gasol.
That's right.
And but like, this is just Mike Malone, I guess, has more control there. Plus, they're in the playoff.
I haven't
hunt.
heard you say wherever I stand with Mike Malone. A long
it's
time.
a little hard.
Are you backing off that take?
I'm not backing off.
That was one of your top 3 deeply held principles.
I still mean it. I'm on Mike Malone's side here. I think the Jokic probably deserved it.
Okay.
But it's a little bit harder to defend him as a coach because they've not been great.
I hear you. I don't know what to say. I think that Denver is like a couple years away from being a couple years away.
And also, like, where do they even go? They've got some exciting pieces, but
I feel like they held on to too many of their vets through too many trade deadlines, and now are like stuck with Fareed and Chandler and all these guys weighing down their bench.
who they just don't want.
Yeah.
That's tough. I really liked when Will Barton weighed in on the fight between Jamal Murray and in the Lakers. I believe it was that fight, right? He called it a suburban beef.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Snap poll. Thunder making the playoffs?
Yes.
Tough 10-game schedule are coming up.
They're still making it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Just making sure.
What do you think?
Spurs making the playoffs?
I think the Thunder are more likely than the Spurs.
Okay.
The Thunder have stars. That's what gets you wins in this league. What do you think?
I'm a little concerned about. I think the Spurs will make the playoffs.
So you believe
I'm concerned about them though.
Who do you think is most likely to get upset in the West playoffs? Here's who's making it right now: Rockets, Warriors, Blazers, Thunder, Pelicans, Wolves, Clippers, Jazz. On the bubble are the Spurs and the Nuggets.
I think the Spurs get in there.
Who's going to fall out though? I think the Clippers.
Jazz.
I also think the Clippers might.
Yeah, I guess the Clippers might.
Without Gallo now as well.
No
Gallo, no Bradley.
The Jazz are now.
I know, it's wild. I'm happy for Haley O'Shaughnessy. Which is your favorite of these teams on the bubble? Other than Thunder.
I think the Jazz just because I love watching Donovan, and I still have a lot of time for Ricky Rubio.
On your schedule, clear out some blocks.
Also, did you see? And this is a great way to end the day because I know one of your favorite topics is Gordon Hayward. Did you see that Gobert popped off about how he was like kind of mad about how Gordon handled his exit?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, hold on.
I love it. How exciting. So what happened was, Gobert said that Gordon Hayward kind of ignored me during free agency.
Like, what is that? You think that entails? Just didn't text him back?
Yeah, or like he wanted like the heads up, or he wanted the opportunity to convince him otherwise.
Yeah.
I don't think you go to Gobert to be charmed though. No one's like, oh, Gobert, he's gonna win me over. Maybe me though. I like a surly Frenchman.
Sure, exactly.
But I love it. It's been a nice year without Gordon Hayward. I wish him well, and I hope he gets back. I look forward to him returning to full health.
Sure, but it's been interesting to see what life would be like without him.
Yeah, and like having to like not having to pretend that he's like some kind of franchise player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's not.
Yeah.
Although next year I guess the Celtics will be interesting. They're just in trouble.
They are talk about team facing some injury problems.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.